meeting I chair as secretary so that we can have election of chair and vice chair tonight. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is right up behind everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we go to the elections, we are going to have a moment of silence. Please join us as we take a moment of silence for reflection and respect. Words cannot express the tremendous grief we have for the Appalachia community is experiencing over their senseless tragedy in Georgia. We mourn the tragic loss of lives and the injuries suffered. Our deepest sympathies go out to the victims, their families, and friends. Please join us in a moment of silence to honor them. Thank you. So at this time, I will take election for the committee chair. As I shared, Danielle is willing to do it again, who is on the computer. Unless someone.
Danielle. I second. All those in favor?
Any discussion?
You just wait, Heather.
All those in favor? Thank you. And election for vice chair again. Heather is willing to do that role unless somebody else.
Heather.
Okay. All those in favor? Any discussion? So moved. So at this point, I will turn it over to you. And we will begin with the presentations.
All right. Do we need to make any adjustments? To
Nope.
the agenda? Okay. So tonight's presentation is the Boy Scouts.
No.
Oh, no, they're here for public service. We have
So,
some.
You want to do the summer school one? Great. So I have a couple of guests here with me this evening. I have Mrs. Johnson and Ms. Hunter and some students with us. So if you guys want to come up, I'm going to hit play on the slideshow. It's just the photos and things. But we're going to share with you some of the activities that we did this summer that made it especially enjoyable. And Ms. Johnson, did you want to start?
Sure. I went on both of the field trips, but this one down to Scudic or Fraser's Point by Katie National Park, Scudic. We went out for a full day, and the Rangers came and did 3 different programs with us. So the kids were able to try their hand at fishing, and then they were able to go looking in the tide pools. And then there was a whole bird identification aspect of it too. They had an excellent time, even though it was classic Winter Harbor summer and foggy as foggy would be. They really do an amazing job, and the kids, there were not a small number that hadn't really spent any time on the ocean. So that's always, for me, an amazing thing. What do you think?
I thought field trips were very fun. I went on that one too. The whole day was I love learning about the dead people and
Jumping right to the center.
it was a great field trip. It was only one really the cable was also super fun. You got to learn about the beach and how they keep their environment super clean and how they hold trails, how they walk and stuff. The park rangers are also very nice. The hike was a little bit fun. It was long, but it was nice and it was soft. It was really fun. I did love learning about nature and all stuff. I love the board.
you're doing great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the end of the day. After the last couple day. Actually, everyone in the big group of the kids helped cook all of that.
Cool.
Me and Kiara, I don't know if maybe younger, actually cooked the bacon. And then, we have to do art. So, it's all in the sugar.
It was a great day where the kids planned an outdoor cooking meal and we fed the whole summer school. It was really cool.
So we decided to do a different take on summer school this year. We always do read alouds and chapter books and really enjoy them. But we decided this year we would focus around some of the history of Maine, be it ghost stories and tales from Katy National Park, because we're doing that trip as well. So we ended up going, and the Historical Society met us and did a tour of Mountain Hope Cemetery, and got to learn about a lot of the history there. And got to learn that it's not just about being a cemetery and the hauntings that might happen there, but the amount of history that's created there. So, yeah.
It was really fun, but it was really cool because there was a bunch of like army people and things, but they didn't have like more names. Claim them, so there were rows and stuff. There was this one really big statue that nominated all of them. Well, they were, all their bodies were just still there, and they were all the names, all the names. I thought it was really cool, but I stayed there for like an extra few minutes to look at it and take notes on it, and everyone else was leaving. I was so focused on getting all the notes I wanted on it. I thought it was so cool. And there's also this other one, I'm pretty sure he was a strange. We didn't get to see it, because it was
Yeah.
I heard he was really cool. But I was kind of disappointed that he was going to know a little bit more about it, because there's another group there, and well, we were like on a field trip one day, so we might know up theirs. So we like passed it. I also learned that, I didn't know this, but like all the families all have like their own spot. I thought they just like put them there. Yeah. But I thought it was really cool to look at. There was also this one grave, it was like King Henry. I really loved him. I don't know why. I was driving in that. But it was also really cool because like we got to learn about all these people, and I was really like enjoying it, because I always liked learning about the dead for some reason. I don't know why. But it was really fun, and I was talking to my other group members, and they were like, they also really loved it. And whenever we got back, after that, there was this mother, and she had like 7 kids, and the kids made her this really big, I don't know if you saw, but it had like a bunch of pillars, and all their lives, and got buried around her, and they wrote on it something, I don't remember, but it was super cute, and we stopped to just admire it all day, because I thought it was so beautiful and so great.
And I think that illustrates one of the awesome things about that place, which is, yes, it's a graveyard, but it's also meant to be a place for people to go and reflect, and this sounds to me like that's exactly what you do. I like it.
And today's her birthday.
Happy
And then the other pictures that you're seeing out there, I think Kathy mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah.
Mr. Maxwell was showing kids how you can take Dutch ovens and bake just about anything.
So we talked about, here's Dutch oven, this is what you can do, let's talk about how can we feed all of the summer school. So the kids in my group and Mr. Burke's group planned out what they thought they want to have. We went through all these living procedures and everything. And then we actually put it out to the rest of the kids, like, what do you want to eat? And then we made our menu based on that. So we ended up with nachos, cinnamon rolls,
Potatoes,
we had potato bombs, we had hot dogs, bacon,
mac and cheese.
and the mac and cheese was delightful.
Oh, yeah.
That was not done in the Dutch oven, but it was delightful.
Really good.
Yeah, it was
Good call.
that one was a hit, I was afraid it was too much, but it wasn't. I think that all of the kids had a super great time, and while they were cooking, we set up a little art station to do some croquet games with shaving cream and watercolor, and that was also a good time. Everything's in homes.
For May studies, actually, Mr. Maxwell started this period where he wanted us to start with it,
Yeah.
instead of him to cook for everyone. It was like. it so last year we started it and tried it, and it was actually really nice. Other than my friends felt those ones, but it was a good learning moment. And she was the only one who grew up, so it had to be her. But I felt it was really cool. I learned how to chop up peppers that day. Mr. Maxwell taught me, and I feel like that was super cool to use in my life. So I really love doing it. I'm excited to do it this year. Actually, me studies for me for 2 days. Actually, coming up here soon in 2 weeks. I'm really excited. So I'm really excited. I'm glad that we got to do this stuff. Hopefully, the end days will be good.
Thanks, Abby.
Certainly not a traditional summer school. I think it made it really fun for them, and people came so happy and excited to be there every day. So I just wanted you all to see that. You're welcome, and thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for all your effort. It's been success, it sounds like. Do we have any other presentations? Okay. Are there any, considerations of the minutes? So,
Yep, no, you're good. So included in your packet, June 3rd was the last time we met, so barring any errors or omission, I would recommend approval as written.
Second.
All those in favor? So the next part of our meeting is public comment. We're excited that we have so many people here tonight. I just want to go over a couple of rules for public sessions. One, when you first start talking, you can introduce yourself so we all know who you are. If you are planning on speaking, or if you not, you should sign in the sign-in sheet at the door. You ask people to try to be respectful of other people's time, so not take more than a few minutes. Remember that this is not a public debate or a conversation, so no questions should be directed at the board. This is really a question and answer time. We're really here to listen. And then also, we would ask that people not have, well, we don't permit complaints against certain staff members. So make sure that all of your comments talk more about the operations of the school and not personnel. At this time, public comments. Yes.
Sure. I'm Michelle Roberts. I am part of the Orrington Rec Board too, but I just wanted to, I tried to come towards the end of June, but it just didn't happen. Volleyball started in the school, and it started at the club and then went to that kind of team. But we had to go travel to Brewer, we have to travel to Brewer for practices and stuff, which are later because we're using someone else's court. So I just want to put forth that it's growing everywhere in all the schools, about having our floor done in our gym so we can have our own equipment here. I know the rec is on board with doing that as well. It would alleviate the safety with the poles in the gym. It would help the gym class, it would help for our adult volleyball, for our adult volleyball, and getting in that all the time. I know volleyball is during the season that our gym is on, so there's a lot to discuss with it. But I do want to put it out there that it's growing big in the school, and the possibility of getting new stuff put into the gym floor. And the faculty is on board for it too, and I'm happy to help whatever, we'll talk to Sharon, but I just want to make aware
year, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, do we have any other public comments? All right, there will be an opportunity again for public comments at the end of the meeting. At this time, we'll move on to
Old
old
business.
business. So policy review, so we first need to review policy EHC. This is our second
Yep.
reading.
You made no changes last time. I'm happy to go over BHC and KEB either way. Otherwise, I would recommend approval as written. Or I'll gladly answer questions.
Okay, second.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, and then policy review, policy KEB.
School calendar.
Oh, sorry.
So you should have included in your packets a adjusted school calendar. It should be in the middle. Essentially, the town has asked that they use our facility for the presidential election in November. In order to make that happen with all the traffic coming and going, I'm going to recommend that you move the in-service date from October to November 5th, which is the election day. So we will have no students here. People can come and go, and you don't have to worry about any of the egress or safety. And we'll do our in-service date with staff in a section of the building that will be away from the elections. Yep. Yep, so that we will still, it just flip-flop staff, and it allows us to do what we need to do and get students out of the building.
We did this at the last.
Yep.
election, right?
We did in 2020, correct. So I would take any questions on that, otherwise that would be my recommendation. And the reason we're doing it now is so that parents and staff can all plan accordingly and have as much time as we can give them, because the request was made a couple of weeks ago.
When was it initially, October 11th?
It was before Indigenous Peoples' Day, so October 11th. Yep. Yes. You need it.
All those in favor?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you just remind me of the last day being on the 18th? Does that include the 6 school days after every time?
That includes, so right now, the last school day or student day is June 18th. That's 6 snow days in there. So once we get through the winter season, we'll know whether or not that's going to be accurate, or we're going to move it back or move it forward.
I ask it every time.
That's okay. No?
All right, so moving on to the new business. Bill Martin.
I've got back. Thank you.
And then, further policy review.
Yep. So KDB is your first one. It's a first reading. We currently have it. The update is based on the fees. It's gone from $15 to $25 an hour. And that's on the freedom of access request that we receive for any research that goes into or any files that have to be pulled. And that everything else you currently have.
So asking for a motion of first read. of the
Yep.
for the next one?
Yes.
I have a motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, next policy.
Administration in the absence of policy. This is one that came out of an audit. Again, it's included in there. It's fairly straightforward, but it essentially allows anything that needs to be done, and then the committee to be informed, so that if there needs to be a policy generated, there is one.
Anyone need a motion or have any questions?
Make a motion to accept first reading, policy CHD. Second.
All those in favor?
The final one is KE. This, again, you currently have. It's an adjustment. It's public concerns and complaints. And what it really does is it spells out A, B, and C, if you look in your packet, about how complaints can be brought forward, which is what you currently enforce. I will take any questions you have on that one.
No questions? Move the first reading.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, and then you have the annual fundraiser.
Yep, that's an annual requirement that is also included in your packet. It's required that you approve them for them to be done through the school.
Different? Maybe it's yours.
Any questions on it?
What is the get egged one again?
So that one is when we sell eggs by the dozen, and then the UTG member goes and eggs your house with candy eggs. They hide them outside for
Okay.
your kids to find.
Our kids are too old now.
They're never too old.
We can
Never
still
too
egg it.
I love looking for eggs.
Well, I mean, I don't know how, I guess maybe he does. No, it's not. Okay, anyone have a motion?
Sure.
Second.
All those in favor? And then the emergency plan.
So you have the emergency plan in front of you. It's an annual requirement that we bring it forward so that you have one. The emergency plan covers all accesses of emergencies, from fire to some of the ones that we worry the most about, to chemical spills, to everything within there. As a reminder, some of the things we've done to upgrade the securities here: we have cameras, we have buzzers, we have an SRO, we have protocols that are in place, which you have in front of you. We have a reunification facility, a process for that. Hopefully those are all things that we never need to know, but in today's world, unfortunately, that's something that we need to be prepared for. And that's what you have in front of you. None of those are allowed to leave. They all stay with me. It's so that you can see that it's done and that it's reviewed every summer by the A team, and then the emergency committee will meet over the course of the year to ensure that we are ready for whatever may come through our doors, unfortunately. It is
There
something
been
you
any
need to.
changes?
Not particularly, although the emerging evidence continues to require updates on what best practices are, and we've come a long way from the first time we had it, which was hide in your corner versus move. But those kinds of changes are research-based and data-based so that we can ensure that we have our best plan. They're private. Yes. You're good. Go ahead.
Your motion?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So, like the section about parent-student reunification,
Yeah.
receiving notifications, are we still using the electronic
Yes.
notification
Yes.
system for those?
Yes.
Okay. A second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
All right, and now we'll move on to the report. Judy?
Yes, you have my written report, so I will be brief. I just want to start by sharing that we've had an amazing start of the year. Kids have come back to school happy. Positivity is flowing around the building. It's wonderful. I thought it should be important to share with you some of the ways we're supporting our new teachers this year. Before school started, we had a 6-hour orientation, myself and Mrs. Pelkey, spending a lot of time going over protocols, policies, getting to know each other. We had our recertification person come in, Mr. Stoker came in, Mrs. Seymour came in. So we had a really great day. Mrs. Pelkey and I have been in all the classrooms frequently, checking in. We have monthly meetings scheduled. And in speaking with our new teachers, they've all shared that everyone has made them feel welcome and supported. And this, of course, is due to your veteran staff that wrap around these people always. So we've had a really good beginning of the year. I've submitted our enrollment by grade level. I always do this in September. You always know that by October it might be slightly different, but we're pretty consistent with what we were last year.
Thank you. And then, here. So I'm going to back up to summer, just because we had our great presentation about summer school, but we didn't have an August school board meeting. So I just wanted to say that even though we always loved when everybody fills the building in the fall, summer was really busy too. And I feel like I'm always saying how busy we are. This building is just the hub of our community, really. So between summer school happening, we had all kinds of projects all over the building this summer with mechanical services and our, what do you call this?
Carmel Electric.
Well, Carmel Electric, but the heat pumps, there we go, the heat pumps and everything. Ben Moulton and his crew, huge thank you to them for everything. This building is just shining and all sparkly for the new school year. We had several teachers, besides summer school teachers, we just had constantly teachers wondering, like, they always wanted to know the floor wax schedule, and can I get to my classroom, because they want to be here all the time, and new teachers settling in. So just all kinds of activity this summer. It was so much fun. But then we started the school year. 2 great in-service days, our open house, fall sports are in full swing. Today we had our first soccer games of the season. They were away. I don't know the results yet because I've been in other meetings, but that's all going strong. Cross country has their first meet tomorrow. So we're doing great with that. We welcome back the same fall coaches that we had last fall season. And PTG had their first meeting of the year tonight prior to this meeting. And we had a group of some new faces that was really nice to see. It was a lot of people in the room, and then we had some returning faces. So we thank all the volunteers that we have throughout the year for PTG. And that's it. Any questions for me?
All right, and then Mary Ellen?
Yes, you already have my report in your packet. We did the presentation this evening, so you know all about that. I did want to point out some folks that I really want to thank, other than all of the amazing staff that were here working for summer school. Wendy McDonald put on a perfect breakfast and lunch every day for these students, and they grabbed their lunch on the way out the door. Everybody went home with a full belly. Mr. Walton, of course, and his crew for helping get all of those rooms up in that 3-4 wing ready before summer school started this year, so that then teachers could come right in and get all settled in right after. Mr. Rapp for getting all of the technology out to students so they could use their technology this summer, and Ms. Syllaboy helped with that as well. The bus drivers were fantastic. That's been so helpful for families to have busing this summer. And the staff in the superintendent's office who took a lot of phone calls, as well as in Judy's and Sharon's office, if students were out, just making sure that we all knew where they were. Just want to make sure. Oh, and Deputy Davis also made a few guest appearances. And it's amazing what a connection he has made with our students. And there were some kiddos that just were so happy to see him when he would stop by. So I just really want to say thank you to all of you for supporting this program. And it's very, very worthwhile, as you could see tonight from that. And then the only other thing in my report is just that we're fully staffed this year and ready to go, and everybody's settled into a nice routine. Can I answer any questions?
Now, did Deputy Davis just stop by? Because he was not,
He was on the road
he
this
wasn't
summer.
with us, right, this summer.
Right, covers the
Correct.
town.
So he just out of his goodness of his.
I bet he missed the kids a little
Yeah.
bit too.
That's all.
Change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And I don't know how often they snack free that way, but it's all the time.
He makes himself very available and goes into classrooms and gets to know all the kids, which is exactly what I think we wanted from this program.
Absolutely.
I check in with him to see how many steps he has throughout the day. so.
Right. Any other questions?
You have my report. We've covered it through the course of the agenda, the only exception being, again, same thing, echo the sentiments of thank you to the custodial staff and Frank for everything they did this summer. There was a lot, and they got it all done, and this building is actually over 20 years old now, and they do an amazing job of keeping it up to date. Other than that, I'll submit it as written. Yeah, go ahead. We can try, up. Heat pumps will not be operational until mid-October. They got the inside, or most of the inside work done because schools have such a tight window where we don't have students in the building, and now they're buttoning everything up and charging the systems outside. Okay? Yep. Other questions? Other questions?
All right. So moving on to personnel.
Yep, you have the appointments in front of you of all the various clubs that we have.
I don't realize what a long list it is until you see it as a list.
It is in the, it is in the fall.
Just that one.
And we just have to receive those.
Yes, those are just received for your information.
And then we can go.
Yep.
So moving on to appointments.
Same, it was just continued.
Okay. Those are received as well.
Yes.
And then moving on to resignation.
Yep. So Jordan Charpentier, physical education, Alexis DeVoe, 4th grade, Morgan Hart, 4th grade, Caitlin Holt, Title I.
Okay, and we'll accept those with regrets.
Yes.
And then,
Yep.
So we're gonna go into executive session.
Pursuant to MRSA subsection A. Yep, you can.
So before we go into executive session, if you'll all be leaving the room at that time, I just want to give people one last chance to comment. So open it back up for public comment.
Comment.
Okay.
I'm Amanda Welch. Thank you for everything that you do. I look around the room and I look at this list of really cool stuff that's going on. My son's in 5th grade this year, and he has signed up for everything. He's signing up for D&D, he's signing up for Chester, he's signing up for all the music things, and I'm so thankful. Because it really, the school offers so much to him, and it has offered so much to him, and my other son also. And the community. Mr. Forrest is here with all of these scouts, and we're in scouts, and we love our scouting family too, because it's amazing, because Orrington has some really amazing people, and that's what it's about. And I guess what I would ask of the school board, school committee, the board, whatever you said here, is just that perhaps there would be a way to share some information, not tonight, it doesn't have to be, I'm not asking for it, like right now as a discussion, to sort of understand what's going on in our school, because we have amazing people, and I understand people move on, and things happen in their life, and things change, right? I moved here from 700 miles away, and I landed in Orrington, and I could not be more grateful to be here. I love this town. I grew roots here, I plan to stay here forever. Sweats Pond is like my most favorite place on earth. I'm not leaving. Maybe a few left, I'm not leaving. And I just would like to understand, because I think as a community, we have an amazing community. So if there are things the community can do to bolster the staff and the faculty at the school, if there's anything we can contribute, I think we'd like to know. I think we would just like to understand, and I do understand that teaching's hard right now. Teaching's always been hard. I used to be a teacher. It was hard then.
It was hard in a different state. It's hard here. I get that. I do. But I think that there are a lot of people that are concerned and would just like to bridge the gap in understanding so that we can just move forward from that. Just with any information you can give us, understanding that confidentiality and privacy and those types of things need to be respected. So that's all I'll be asking for.
All right, do we have any other comments? Yeah.
A good resource for getting to know teachers and what's going on in school and comes to filling gap as well. The PTG committee is meets every month. It's an important part of the one too, it's just it's a little break here this time, and there are further children in school, and only parents typically show up or anything. So it's like, sometimes doing things as a one-on-one show to ensure that these numbers and topics that have the benefit of getting to know teachers, all of that to be personal. You can know what's going on, not just in the school, but even in their lives and people, so you know, they have to be special, because that's where to support them, is to be around them, and you can do that at least once a month, because that's what I have to know what's going on.
I'm sorry, can we get your name?
Sarah,
Thank you.
my voice a little shaky because I'm super passionate about it, because it makes me feel a little frustrated for someone to ask what they can do for the teacher, and to know that only a few people show up every month to do that for the teacher.
This may not be the time or the place, but I just wanted to be on the public record that I cannot thank Sarah enough for everything that she has done for our school. And I show up to meetings and I see it. I see the people who are dedicated to the UTG that show up and are willing to take their time out of their life to do whatever they can to support us. So I cannot thank you guys enough for everything you've done over the years for this school. And it's been a pleasure working with you, so you better come back.
I'm Kevin Ostrek. I kind of agree with Amanda, is that I think some of us just want to know what else we can do to help foster that positive nurturing, aside from just being involved with PTG, but just to make sure that teachers stay, and sometimes they are going to leave, that people stay, because these teachers have such positive impacts on our kids. And they're here not just to teach them, to be role models and to help nurture them and get them through the schooling and the days and through life. And we just want to be able to help support our teachers so that the efflux stops and so that we can keep people in here, because it is a great family. But we need to be able to make sure that our family members know that they're supported and that they're loved and that we will help them out in ways that we can.
So did you want to respond to that?
Sure. So I mean, I'm happy to meet with both of you and we can have further dialogue or whatever, but so that you understand what's happening around us. I did poll all of the districts that we are adjacent to. And so essentially what you're going to hear is Bangor lost 30 teachers this year, 9% of their total staff. Glenburn was 8, 24% of their total staff. Orrington was 6, 18%. RSU 22, which is Hamden, for those of you who don't know, was 22 teachers, which was 11% of their staff. Bucksport was 11, which was 12%. 63, which is Holbrook, for those who don't know, that was 9, that was 23% of their staff. And Carmel Land, or RSU 87, was 7, which was 17% of their staff. What we're seeing is a movement here, and while we are doing everything we can to support that, that is a reality of what's happening, not just here, but all around us. And you can pull the articles in the paper, you can see all of it. Those numbers are real. And we do not have, and you're not going to find a business that has enough staffing to fill them all that quickly.
So what can we do to make them want to stay longer and more, or make it that decision even harder for them to leave? Because some of these teachers they're phenomenal people.
Agreed.
You know, so what can we do to make it difficult for them to say, I resign, like I'm going to go to a different school? Like, what is there to say, like, what can we do to make you stay?
Yeah.
Or why is this conversation happening? What could we have done 6 months ago to prevent these people from wanting to leave?
So I think those things, and again, I can have a further dialogue with if you want, but those things come back to a person's own situation. It's a very complex situation. And we talk about how can we wrap around our staff and support them repeatedly. And what do we do, whether it's from the climate committee that we have to any of the other things that we do to make it so that they want to stay.
Can we offer them more pay?
So we,
How do we propose that?
I don't know any of them would say no. I don't think any would say no if we offered it, just to be clear.
I looked on the MEA website, and so I looked at our pay, and I just chose Glenbrook. Glenbrook is kind of like a similar school that we
Yep.
have. And we're just like a few $1,000s less. than
We're close,
the
yeah.
Glenbrook, scale. Like, is there any way that we could nudge it up? Or
Yeah.
I wasn't really able to find Bangor or Brewer schools on there.
I've
but-
got those if you want them, but yes.
Yeah, something to make it more comparable, just to say
Yeah.
like, hey, can we entice you a little bit more to stay? So that you're not leaving to go to some other school
Yeah.
that might have better pay, because they love the kids, and they love our children, and they love to be here, but is there, I don't want to bring it back to money all the time, but it's just.
It's a factor. It's not the only
Yeah.
factor. Yeah, it's a factor.
So that's, I
So-
don't know how you propose that, give our teachers a raise, but that's what I would like to do.
Well, I'm
Give
sure
our
they're gonna
teachers a
reject it.
raise.
I mean, so the answer to that is always what you're gonna end up seeing is that it's a 3-year contract. And so it's like leapfrog. We move ahead, then somebody else moves ahead, then we move ahead. But my honest answer would be if that's something that everybody would support, then you're gonna need to show up at the budget meeting. Because that's the piece that we need help making sure, because what I don't want to see is that we move all of that and then we end up cutting positions. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm saying we need help if that's what the will is of the community, because we've had a great relationship with the union repeatedly and continue to negotiate through what can we do to move your pay forward and still protect all your positions. And that's a reality.
Your pay has also,
We've moved it significantly,
in the
but
last couple of years.
Got some question there.
No, we're just a comment. I mean, I have been tied to the Bangor School for the last 17 years. My husband has been principal. We have lost several teachers throughout my entire time being here to Bangor. But a good portion of those teachers went to Bangor to help Bangor. They have significant amount of children that are way worse off. I mean, they're great teachers, and they go there to help. I mean, yes, great pay is great, but they don't undertake it on. They're gonna be helping more children who aren't getting the help. I mean, so I'm glad to see some of the teachers throughout the years that we've lost, making a difference in Bangor.
to your left.
Andy?
Andy Gilman, former school board member. To tie into what Jamie said, in addition to showing up to that budget meeting, you also have to show up to that town meeting to vote that budget meeting. It's one thing to want. I think we all have talked about it at one point in time as offering those teachers more money. But there is opposition in this community to the amount of money that the school gets. So we need to show up in numbers. I would gladly show up with you, raise my hand to look at a higher budget, even if that means the taxes go up a little bit, so that we can offer these teachers more money.
So, money is one factor, but you have the ability to poll the teachers and find out what's going on and why some of them may have left or are considering leaving. And so I think that gathering of information, fresh this year, because you have new people on, you have people in different positions that have moved around, maybe they need some time to understand that. I think that could give us a good view at what do they need for support also, right? To really use data, not stories, not anecdotes, right? Not that qualitative data is not important also, because that tells the whole picture, right? But having that quantitative data to really understand what they need and where they need, because the truth is, it's not just the community that needs to support them, they might need other things. And you're right, it might be money. And maybe we do need to go get more money for teachers. We don't know yet because we just need to look at all of that. And so I think that would be super helpful if we can understand where you need the support or where they need the support, or, you know, the whole system needs the support.
Yes. Also, our resources, you know, during enrollment syndrome. We have also resources in universities here, right? Hudson University and UMaine. They have very strong, as Judy has very strong programs in education. They are training our college students, young adults, and adults that want to become teachers. They have programs there for them, and they are very interested in, of course, would love to be in the classroom, because I think part of the problem, or could be, I've heard from a teacher that has left, is that they might be overwhelmed and might need a little assistance. So bringing them in as interns or whatever, because they're gonna actually be the future teachers when they graduate. They're gonna apply, hopefully stay here in your area, your Maine, in Bangor, or Orrington, Hamden, or wherever, and they're gonna stay here and look for jobs. So what better way to use these universities and these programs, meet the Dean of Education in both, as Judy has done with Hudson University, use them more, bring them in. We used them for the pandemic, our family, and they were so eager. There's so many students that were dying to just, you know, teach and get information. So I mean, I know, like I said, you scratch the surface, but you know, go all the way. There's also not just education, there's theater, there's so many different departments, my point, that you can pull so many of these people that want to be here, want to teach, and it would take the load off the teachers, having more assistants or mentors that they can help out in the classroom. And so, and if you need any more of those resources in any university, specifically Hudson, you know, I know there's a lot of us that are from the different universities here. I'm sure we're more than willing to help you, you know. So there could be a lot of, I don't know, maybe a program for you. You know, President Hudson now, so there's a lot.
We do. Yeah. So Judy has spearheaded bringing in from the College of Education at Hudson, students who mentor and then go into the classrooms and do different pieces. Doesn't mean it can't be expanded, but absolutely has done a great job of bringing them in to get them here and be consistent here every opportunity we have, right?
There's no cost, it's absolutely free, and they get the experience and the credits.
Any other comments? Yes. Hi, I'm Gretchen Boynton. I have two children who attend this school. And they have had some of the most beautiful experiences as students here. I want you to know that the teachers that we lost this year changed trajectories for our children. This isn't about, are we fully staffed, are we not fully staffed? These teachers changed our kids. And I just want to leave that with you. There must be a way that we can retain quality educators. There must be. The school is full of them, but we took a hit this year. And it hurts. Any other comments?
I am Kathy Johnson. I've been a teacher here for 13 years. I student taught here actually with Nancy Morris, and she said, you got to apply. And I did without hesitation. And I often refer to this as the Hotel California. Once you check in, you never leave, because that's the way I feel about it. This school has become a part of my heart and my soul. And I couldn't leave here for anything. And I had an opportunity, they want teachers everywhere. And I had an opportunity to go, but when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I can't leave these people. And then I said, Hannah, that's my daughter, did we get a superintendent's agreement? And her daughter started here in September. And she's in kindergarten. And for the first time since this child has been going out into what she calls school, she's not asking about when's my next home day. She's like excited about coming to school tomorrow, even when it's Friday. And sad to find out that she's not coming. And that made our hearts grow so big, because that's all we wanted for her for a couple of years now. For her to not be so sad about having to go to school and always be counting down to the home days. So I guess I just needed that to be said.
I just want to end it on a positive note, because I feel like it's been all about these recommendations and determinations. That I'm thankful for all the staff that's here that's safe, and I assume a lot of other people are too. I'm sad that some of them left, but we're very thankful for the ones that are here, for all the kids.
I do, Sharon Landry, the computer lab teacher. And I just want to say that in this situation, that I think it's important for all of us, no matter where we land, that we take the time to appreciate people's individual experiences. We may not be able to relate to their experience because our experiences have been completely different. But we do need to understand as a community and as a school why this person is having this perceived experience, whether we agree with it or not, whether it's been our experience or not. And I'm hoping that both, I don't want to say sides because this isn't sides, but I just hope that we can appreciate and just take a moment to pause and understand and honor that her experience is very painful, even though it may not be the way we perceive it, and it may not be our experience. And I think that's the only way we're going to be able to just come together and see where we can go from here. But as long as we call it sides or however we perceive it in our brains without taking that step back and saying, I will accept that you had that experience and we'll work together to find out why you had that experience. That's how we move on.
Thank you. Any other comments?
My name's Al Calvert. I got to keep you bringing it up. I've heard some really good comments. I would reinforce what Mr. Hillman has said. I go to the budget meetings, I've gone to them for 5 or 6 years. And Lord knows, people talk about the expense. And the school budget is expensive. Go down and get a town report and look at it. It's very expensive, but every dollar is spelled out. You know, right where it goes. But we work for you. And if you decide the school needs a different budget, you have to come out, just like Mr. Hillman said. And you have to do it just like you're doing it here tonight. A nice, peaceable, thoughtful discussion. If you come in swinging, I'm not going to get you there. This was perfect. This is what we need to hear. And people, you need to keep doing that. I would add, I'm sorry, just one I think money is a concern for anybody, But I've left jobs in my 60-odd years for other jobs that pay less just because I like them more. And I think you'll find, as James said, go in and talk to them because there's not a lot of things that can be brought out in public discussion. But you'll find people move on for lots of reasons. Maybe they move back to their hometown, maybe they move back to an alma mater. Maybe, there can be any number of reasons that don't necessarily involve money. And he gave me the numbers from the other schools. What was those schools for some of them, over 20% of their entire teaching staff moved. So we're not alone. And it's painful, but you can take a little comfort in knowing that it's not anything that Orrington is doing necessarily. It's going on.
I have a quick comment. Wendy Stone, I teach third grade. I've been in the school for 11 years. Prior to that, I was 10 years in technology. But I just want to say to the administration, this is my second year teaching third grade, and I have never felt so supported. Like anything I need, they are there. So I just want to thank you for that because as a first year, second year teacher, I appreciate that. And you always push me to do my best and then I get to do it. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, where's that raise?
And I do think, all of us on the board, most of us at this table, have had kids go through this school. We all love this school. We loved it for our kids. We want it to be great for all kids. All of your comments are important, and heard. Moving forward, I hope that we've hired great staff who will also be amazing and children will continue to have amazing experiences. Certainly, if you have more concerns, speaking to the administration and James are really kind of a best first step. The PTG also, sounds like a really step. But because you can have more of a discussion with the administration and the public spending, that is another issue. We do appreciate you coming and feel free to come with us at any time, but also know that there are other avenues that you can explore and be heard.
We would love to bring people out every week.
All right, so we are going to go into, if there's other comments, we are going to go into executive session.
Cool.